welcome back to another episode of Thinking That Matters. I'm Elizabeth Mahusai, your host, and I am here with my friend and fellow Leadership McKinney Class of 2025. Greatest class ever. Friend Cheneda Samuel. And so I'm so excited. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you.
And it's been already a joy just getting to know you, and also as a class getting together. We'll talk about that a little bit more later.
Okay.
But now it's about you. Tell us about you, and I would love for you to share with our audience a little bit of your history and your story.
Okay. Well, I am Cheneda Samuel, originally from Baltimore, Maryland. I have been in Texas for 17 years, always in the McKinney area. What else do you want to know?
You have a degree in...
Oh, yeah. I have an electrical engineering degree and an MBA that I all received in Maryland. And that has taken me to many different places and resources in my life.
You know, I'm curious, because this whole podcast is around thinking,
Mm-hmm.
what had you thinking, I want to pursue being an electrical engineer?
Oh, I was that kid. So I was a latchkey kid. So for those who don't understand a latchkey kid.
We're dating ourselves.
Yes, we are. But it's okay. We look great.
Yeah, exactly. We do.
We were the kids that came home from school and no one was there. So whether your parents got home later or you had brothers and sisters that were later, you were in the house for a certain amount of time before someone came home. So my sister is 10 years older than me. So she was already gone in college by the time I started elementary.
Good point.
My brother was 6 years older than me, and he was a cross-country runner and a swimmer. So fall time, he would get home late. And then my mom was a single mom, and she worked for Westinghouse. And so from October to December, she would work extra hours for Christmas. So it made me a latchkey kid. And yeah, I came home and watched the Flintstones and all the little cartoons. But if my mom only knew all the things I took apart in the house and rebuilt before anybody got home.
So you had a propensity towards
Yes.
the mechanical nature,
Yeah, I wanted to know why it worked that way and how. So I took off light switches. Okay, if I flipped it, why is it turning off? If I move this wire, what is do this? I was that kid that it says, do not remove, you will get shocked. I removed it. So I wanted to figure out how, VCR worked. I'm really dating myself, right?
Oh, my word, we're dating ourselves.
The big, floor TVs. I did all of those things. Don't watch this podcast, Mom. When I was a kid. And
Wow.
I had that whole time. And I would get everything back together before it came home. Anybody came home and no one knew because everything
Wow.
still worked.
Wow. Okay, so someone who I have a chemistry degree.
Okay.
And, I'm in a more technical science space. So I'm just curious, when you were getting your electrical engineering degree, what class was the hardest for you and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. If I can think back that far. I don't know.
Nothing stands out right away.
If the actual engineering classes were the hardest, or maybe the non-general Pacific classes were the hardest. All I know is that I was fascinated by most things, right? Because I had a great privilege that I had an outstanding history teacher. So she made history really interesting,
that.
right? And then I had a great philosophy teacher. But when it came to my engineering classes, those were the classes that got me like, right? Oh, that's why that's working. This is how this works. Oh, this is the equation. Why is this equation like this? And so that, brought the light bulb on. So I can't really say anything was hard. Not that I was a perfect student or a straight A student, but I just love learning why.
It sounds like you approach learning with such an openness,
Yes.
and there's a joy for learning for you. Is learner one of your Clifton strengths, Cheneda?
You know what? They did not show up on my Clifton strengths. Not in the top 10. But I think, and maybe I might be wrong because I'm not an expert I think your strengths change over time, right?
Yeah.
So some of those assessment tests that we take, I know when I was younger, whatever one that was saying demanding, and leader was always at the top.
Yeah.
Right. So now what's at the top for me is more of relationship building, development, and then being bossy and leading.
Being bossy and a leader. We have that in common.
Yes.
We have that in common for sure. I love that. I mean, and I'm also curious too. So you got your electrical engineering, and then
Yes.
did you immediately get your MBA,
No.
or you went back and got your MBA?
No, I went back. I went to work. I had a great job at my first job out of school was with Lockheed Martin.
That's
in
an awesome
Virginia.
job.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and I loved that because, of course, it was new. You were making money. You were young, and we were just learning stuff. And then probably about, I want to say 5 years later, is when I went back and got my degree. Now, my original plan was graduate, work for a year, go back and get my master's and doctorate in engineering. But one of my natural gifts, I would say, that God gave to me was just business. And I said, why not get a degree in something
business.
that I'm natural in, right? And it'll, not that it'll be easy, but it's more of a natural stride for me. So why not get a degree in
So that was the thinking that you had for the MBA, because I was going
Yes.
to ask you about that, but you naturally shared it with me.
Yeah.
That you found that you also have a natural propensity towards business. I really appreciate that. Now, you are. I mean, you're years from an electrical engineering degree, an
Yes.
MBA degree. What are you passionate about now?
My passion has always been community and helping people. So even when I was in engineering, I was doing missionary work. I'm always want to help people. And it's not just always people in need. It's just if you need something and I can help you figure it out, I want to help you do that, right? I want to help people to get to their goals. I want them to help them to see that there's something else besides maybe what they're going through, right? And then also help them to see that there's other people who's willing to help you. They're
Yes.
not going to look down on you because you're going through something. So that's always been in my path of life.
Okay.
And now I just have the blessings and opportunity to do it full time for a great organization as One Heart McKinney.
That's I appreciate that that community and that helping people. And it had me thinking when you were saying that you, in a sense, you see problems and you go into what are creative solutions for the problem. Is that a fair
That's
statement?
fair. That's
Okay.
fair.
So I'm curious then, thinking back to your background of electrical engineering and your MBA and how it prepared you for the problem solving that you engage in now. How would you say that those degrees help to create certain paths of thinking for how you approach problem solving?
One of the things that I say to myself I feel like I was created to do is to be a problem solver, but also a solution provider. Because a lot of people don't they'll solve the problems, but they don't always provide the solution, so you won't have the problem again. And so that has been my motto for me. That's what I do. I'm a problem solver, but I'm also going to show you a solution so you don't have to go back down that road again. And with engineering and business, they kind of, for me, for my personality and for who I am, they go hand in hand, right? Because now I can go into a situation and maybe see what we need to do technically, but also maybe to see what we need to do on a business level to solve the problem and provide a solution.
I love that. Problem solving versus solution provider, or maybe problem solver and
Yes, that's what I am.
solution
Yes.
provider, right? Is what I'm hearing there. And also too that your mindset is solution providing, with the thought process of how can we keep this problem from reoccurring
Yes.
over and over and over again.
Yes. And that's the
Yes.
key. I think that's the key when you're just talking about social services, when you're talking about finance, anything, right? If I got into this debt, let's use finances for example. I got into debt. Why did I get into debt? Is it because loss of income for some reason? Or it's just because I'm just spending frivolously, right?
Right.
So now that I know, once I pinpoint what the problem is, how can I provide solutions so I don't walk down that path again or avoid that path as much as I can?
So true. And So I think this would probably be a great place for me to ask about One Heart McKinney, because I know it's been in existence for how many years?
We're in our 2-year mark.
2-year mark. Okay. So educate us.
Okay.
Who is One Heart McKinney, and what is your mission as an organization?
The original goal of One Heart McKinney started in 2020, and it was just to help people during COVID, right? People lost jobs. They couldn't get back to work. Things were just in chaos, right? So we provided financial solutions to help pay for utilities, rent, whatever you needed. Once COVID died down, they said, hey, we still need this service here in the community. So now let's make it a full blast nonprofit. So in 2022, it became a full nonprofit.
Hey.
And we are now, our goal is we help people who need help find help. That is simply what we do. We want to be that community resource hub. So when people need services, they don't have to call around to all the 20, 30, 40, 50 nonprofits that we have here in the area to find a solution. They come to us, and we give them accelerated access to the solution. So if we know that a certain agency cannot help them, or they don't have funds at the time, we won't refer them over there.
Because otherwise you're wasting time. And asking for funds that aren't going to be there to begin with.
Exactly. And it's dehumiliating to people and degrading, because all they hear is no, no, no. Some people can hear no and run with it and go, okay. Some people go, oh, you're only saying no to me. And they're not, right? And so we're helping to relieve that stress from
Isn't
clients.
that interesting, that what you just said, that some people can handle no easily. Other people could believe it's me, right? You're telling me no. And what's interesting is what we even attach to the why you're telling me no. Because I believe that really connects us. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. The stories we tell ourselves.
Yes.
Right? So in this scenario, we're in need of a service. We are told no. We begin to think, you're just telling me no, and now that expands into a story of why you're telling me no, what that says about me. And I just think that's a real thing, whether it's trying to get help, or it's something in your job or your marriage or your relationship. So for you, what have you found in your own life to control the narrative?
Right. I think one of the main important things is, so I'm not a social worker. I'm not licensed, right? Don't play one on TV. None of that stuff. But when you work in that field and you're doing case management work, you really have to be into the business of the care of people, the nature of people. I can't treat you the same way someone else, right? Someone can call me and I can distinctively hear, well, they already told me no. Everybody's telling me no. Nobody wants to help. And so I have to distinctly prepare how to answer them instead of just giving them the blanket answer. Well, it's just no funds available, right? I have to say to them, it's not about you, ma'am. It's really not. Everybody needs help. And unfortunately, at this time, there's no funding available. So let's find some other ways to help you in your situation, right? We cannot maybe provide you financial, but we can give you some education or some other items to help you financially in your home, right? And so it's the way you deal with people. Some people completely understand, like I said, right? Oh, okay, I just ain't no funds available. I completely understand. And you handle them in a different way.
Right.
Not that you're giving anybody else any more care or protection. It's just you have to learn how to handle the nature of people, how to care for them in the stage that they are.
Yes, what I hear there is you're meeting them where they are, and you're willing to adjust what you say and how you say it, and sometimes in the order in which you say it, right, in order to be sensitive to where they are.
Yeah, you have to. When you're dealing with the public, you have to, right, in any form. I remember during the time when I was a retail manager, and some people would come in the store and go, yeah, great. I was like, man, I can order that shoe for you. And I go, oh, that shoe's out of stock. Oh, okay, I'll come back. Call me later. And then other people like, what do you mean it's out of stock? The other store got it. So-and-so store got it. I said, yeah, but this is not that store. Well, yes, you are. You're located up there. So I was like, ma'am, that's not the same store.
Yeah.
Give me your supervisor. And I am the supervisor, ma'am. I don't, So, you just have to learn how to handle people. Because if I could have gave them the same energy they gave me back, nothing would have made the difference, right?
Okay, that I think though is worth hanging out on for a moment. You could have given them back the same energy, I think is what the words you said, that they were giving you, but that would not have accomplished anything. Tell me more about that.
Because sometimes you just have to let people know, right? I'm an advocate of that. But most of the time, it's not even worth it, right? Sometimes if you just help them see what's really going on and that whatever they think is so serious is not serious, it's that simple. I remember, like I told you, I've had plenty of jobs. I was a claim adjuster for an insurance company for 5 years. And the lady called me and she's like, you did this, and y'all did this, and y'all said this. And I said, ma'am, if you just give me 3 minutes to explain the process to you and what happened, I think you'll understand better. And she calmed down and I explained it. And she said, you know what? I'm sorry. I went off on you and you handled it and helped me understand it. I appreciate that.
Something that, we talk about this in coaching, training, presenting is vocal quadrants, right? And what you, viewer, listener, you are getting to hear Cheneda really talk low and slow because it's a calming tone and approach, and it slows the mind down and allows people to hopefully, ideally, begin to open their mind to a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
So it's clearly you have been in a lot of circumstances where you have had to calm down upset people.
Yeah, and then sometimes I got upset with them.
Well, we're not perfect.
Right?
We are not perfect. We are not perfect.
But the majority of the time,
yes,
I would say.
It's true. And I mean, even just recently, I had an issue with a service provider. I'll be generic, and they had incorrect information, but I kept getting bumped around, and I remember getting the second bill after I thought I'd already taken care of it, and getting back on the phone, and in my mind, what's the story I'm telling myself? I don't have time to deal with this. Right. Right. And so I found myself kind of having what I would call an elevated tension internally. And I remember at one point saying to the woman on the other, I recognize this is not you. This is the situation. Right. And just having to slow my own self down. Right. Because it is. I mean, if we're not careful, the story we tell our own selves can get out of control.
Exactly.
Yeah. So One Heart McKinney, I love how you said you help people who need help find help. I love that. And in terms of connecting them to the right resource and help and caring for them where they are and connecting them to what they need is so incredibly powerful. But here's the thing. You went from a likely corporate, I'm guessing high-paying job to being in the nonprofit world. Most people make assumptions that in the nonprofit world, you're not making the same, so we're being more generic, as you are in a higher-paying corporate job. Tell me about the thinking that led you to shift into that space, into the nonprofit space.
It has to be a passion, right? It has to be your passion. I believe working in your passion. So when I was young, engineering was my thing. I loved it. I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be engineer of the world, right?
I love it.
Right. But as you start working, it's not that you use the love for it, because I still love it. But your goals and your passion
change.
Yeah, or they show up, maybe. Maybe it was always there and it just shows up. So as I was an engineer, I was a contractor for NSA, the National Security Agency. NSA you hear in all the movies.
Yep.
And have a hoping they don't come get me because I had clearance, a top secret clearance, right? But I was building and creating and designing stuff for the military to help protect the world, help protect other countries. But at the same time, I was a missionary in my church. And when things happen in other countries or in the U.S., we would send resources, send missionaries there to help with what just got destroyed. But at work, I'm building and designing what got destroyed. To get destroyed.
Yeah, what is helping to destroy. Yes.
And then on church, I'm sending resources and people to help. And so it wasn't really a conflict for me. God just said, which side did you want to work, right? Because we do need to protect the world. We need to protect the United States in whatever form that is. But at the same time, as a Christian, as spiritual as we are all put here to do, we're supposed to help and protect others, not just yourself. And so he just said, which side? And that inner passion that I didn't know I had so passionately drew me to that side.
That is now. Did you go straight from more corporate America to One Heart McKinney, or
No.
you were at other nonprofits?
I had a long path.
Oh, okay, so
yeah.
so quite a few different stops along the way.
Yeah, so I worked for I was the engineer for 13 years. When I left that job, I went to work for Johns Hopkins University and did some research in lead abatement, which was fantastic, right?
Lead abatement.
Yeah.
Speaking my chemistry language.
So I did some research in that, and that was fantastic, right? I left there and then went to go work for my church. We had an outreach center. So that's kind of like lining up, right?
Yeah.
But things happened, and I was like, ooh, well, I was making, 17 million, now I'm making 17 cents, right? And life was happening, right? I wanted a house, I want this, I want that. And then I went back to the engineering world for about 2 years, and I said, this is great, but this is not my passion.
Yeah.
And so not too long, so I went back to work for my church for 2 years before I came down here to Texas. During that move, or once I moved, I had several different jobs in Texas during that time. And finally, I got with One Heart. I keep moving that.
So you said something that really stood out to me. You went back to engineering for 2 years. So clearly you were making more money at that point. And the note that I made was money wasn't enough. No. It wasn't enough to keep you.
No.
Because at whatever point your passion revealed itself, then not operating or working within your passion, it sounds like it wouldn't have mattered how much money.
No.
That it would not have satisfied.
Right. Yeah, some people's passion is money, right? And they do whatever to get money, whether it's legal or illegal, right? But that's their passion. My passion is not money. My passion is people and helping people. So I had to do something more where I can connect to people than I was. See, my original job in engineering, I was helping people. I was helping the world.
That's
protection.
Right. Yes.
But it wasn't no connection. Working in a nonprofit world is more connection to people, for me, than it is. Because I can do one-on-one with people. I can talk to people. I can touch people. I can hear them, and they can hear me.
That's true. It's reminding me of, so I got a chemistry degree, so we shared that love of science. And then my master's degree, I focused on curriculum and instruction with an emphasis in instructional technology. Okay. So we looked at how do you take technology and you leverage it in an educational environment. And that did include understanding the inner workings of a computer and a network and all the things. And I remember being in the public school system there in the Tampa, Florida area. I was teaching chemistry, and an opportunity arose where I could utilize my master's degree in instructional technology. So I became a technology specialist, and I thought that was going to be awesome. But what I found after I was in the second year, I'm like, I need people. Can I fix a computer? Yes. Well, I could fix a computer from back then.
Right.
Can I fix a computer? Can I install a hard drive? Can I install RAM? Can I fix a network? Yes, But am I passionate about it? No. Give me people. And so I'm just appreciating what you were saying, that once that passion is awakened, if we tamp that down, if we continue to pursue avenues that are not allowing us to operate within it, it comes at a cost.